This is a very interesting situation here with the badminton players from Asia who put up this show where they were like trying to lose so that they wouldn't face each other, or they wouldn't face a tough opponent in the next round. Now, so what happened was that, according to the article, a pair from China, two from South Korea, and another from Indonesia appeared to be deliberately trying to lose. Spectators were booing at the female players as they were shooting long and wide and employed time-wasting tactics as they appeared to try to engineer themselves a favorable draw in the next round of the competition. Now, all four players had qualified for the last 8, but the top spots were still to be settled. Okay, so basically they were trying to lose so that they could in essence win. Now then one of the officials intervened and disqualified the players in the second game. There was disqualification of the players in the second game, prompting a roar of approval from the angry crowd. However, unfortunately, he quickly reversed his decision. This is kind of interesting because it shows, in essence, the Oriental mind, the non-Christian mind. As that these people think that cheating is perfectly okay, that manipulating things is perfectly fine. They don't see any moral wrong in it. They don't see. The idea of honor, the idea of fair play, it doesn't really enter into the equation. In fact, when they were asked as to what the hell that you were doing, they said, no, we were purposely trying to lose because we already qualified. So why do we have to do we have to sweat it out? This is the mentality, which explains why the Chinese, for instance, always try to steal secrets from American industry. And they think it's perfectly okay if they can get away with it. They think it's perfectly okay. Which should be an interesting sociological lesson. As many thinkers have pointed out, that there is this vast chasm between East and West. That the Christian West has moral commitment to absolute moral laws handed down by a mighty creator. The Oriental mind does not think along those lines because they don't have that kind of a moral history and religious background. For all intents and purposes, their religion is pagan. Okay, Taoism is very much a religion where there is no really absolute God. There are only just many demigods and spirits and what have you. So the underlying issue here is the notion that you have people who find it almost quite acceptable to do whatever is necessary to get their whatever rewards that they're looking for. And if they means cheating, that is perfectly okay with them. So when they come into contact with our Western world, it's almost like they are shocked, when they are told that they're not supposed to do this, that they're supposed to be sportsmanlike, that they're supposed to, manipulate results in order to get a medal. It's almost like, to them, it seems to me almost like something out of the ordinary. So this explains why the Chinese, for instance, are obviously cheating by having, especially these women, whether either they're taking drugs or they must be doing some kind of biological alteration. They're probably playing with the DNA because some of these women look like men. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised that one day we will discover that these people are doing some kind of genetic modifications so that they can get their women, especially their women, because that's where they win the medals, to win medals for their country. Because associated with that, it's not just the idea of winning, the idea of being successful, but it's also kind of a racist mentality that especially the Chinese have, that somehow they think they're better than the rest of us. And so this situation with badminton, where they, with a straight face, they admit that they were trying to manipulate the game, without understanding the consequences, without having the vaguest idea what fair play and sportsmanship is, just underscores the kind of people that we are dealing with. Not just in the sports arena, but on the world stage.